Live from the Vodafone Gigabit Broadband Studio in Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Tomkins. Today's top stories. A 6-week-old baby girl is being treated for serious injuries following an assault in County Meath. Recruitment has begun to staff the new South East Palliative Care Centre. The average rent in Waterford City is now €1,007 a month. And in sport, the Republic of Ireland women's team are just about to kick off their Euro 2021 qualifier away to Greece. A 6-week-old baby girl is being treated for serious injuries following an assault in County Meath. A woman in her 20s also suffered minor injuries and a man has been arrested. Kim Buckley reports.
This assault took place at around 7 a.m. yesterday morning in Ashbourne in County Meath. A woman in her 20s received minor injuries. During the course of the assault, a 6-week-old baby girl received serious but non-life-threatening injuries and was taken to Temple Street Children's Hospital in Dublin. A man in his 20s was arrested and is being held at Ashbourne Garda Station.
The HSE says recruitment has begun to staff the new South East Palliative Care Centre. The executive says there are a number of positions available within the medical, nursing, social care and administration services areas. It's anticipated the posts will be in place within the first 4 months of next year. The state-of-the-art facility at University Hospital Waterford was officially handed over to the HSE in April of this year. However, because of a budget had not up to now been provided to the HSE for staffing, recruitment could not start. The average rent in Waterford City is now €1,007 a month. According to the latest daft.ie report, rents in the city have risen by 5.5% in the last year. In the rest of Waterford, rents were almost 12% higher than this time last year. The cost of the average rent in Waterford County is now €962 a month. Ronan Lyons, economist at Trinity College Dublin and author of the Daft report, says the rate of rental inflation in Waterford City is slowing down. But he says Waterford County's rise to double digits is in line with the rest of rural Ireland.
There's a bit of an urban-rural split. In most of the big cities now, rental inflation has slowed quite a bit, but especially in Munster, outside the cities, rental inflation is still very fast. So an increase of almost 12% is well above the normal rates of inflation you'd expect to see in a healthy market.
Meanwhile, a Waterford estate agent says there's a severe shortage of homes to rent in Waterford City. Regina Mangan is the managing director of Liberty Blue Estate Agents. She spoke to Damien Tiernan on Data Today.
Today, right, there are 29 houses to rent, of which 8 are students, because I went through and counted them all. So that's 21 houses for families to rent. That's anything from a beautiful executive home in Newtown for €1,700 down to a house in Ferrybank for €875 or €900. It's a disaster.
Controversial tweets from Fianna Fáil election candidate Lorraine Clifford-Lee shouldn't mean the end of her political career. That's according to one of her colleagues. Justice spokesman Jim O'Callaghan said the comments the Waterford native made were offensive and suggested she meet the traveller group Pavey Point. Our political correspondent Sean Defoe reports.
Over the weekend, old tweets from Fianna Fáil's by-election candidate in Dublin, Finn Gael, emerged. Lorraine Clifford-Lee tweeted a number of times in 2011, making references offensive to travellers. She said a knacker had stolen her car and that some clothes she'd seen looked as though they were from a traveller wedding. She also tweeted how a black Brazilian dwarf with ginger hair had sat next to her on the bus. This morning, her party colleague Jim O'Callaghan defended her.
I think all of them were inappropriate. The ones I saw, I thought they were offensive. Particularly to travelling people. Having worked with her in the justice and equality area, she's always advocated the line in terms of inclusivity and equality. She obviously made silly statements many years ago, but I don't believe they reflect her current thinking.
He said comments from years ago should not mean the end of someone's political career. The senator has apologised for her tweets, saying there's a right-wing smear campaign against her. Certainly a poor start to a by-election campaign Fianna Fáil were hopeful of winning.
Gardaí have seized drugs, guns and ammunition in Drogheda and County Louth as part of a Garda operation targeting organised crime. During the search of a premises in the town yesterday, Gardaí discovered 3 handguns, assorted magazines and various ammunition. A man in his 30s was arrested. Separately, shortly before lunchtime yesterday, cocaine with an estimated street value of €1.4 million was seized after a car was stopped and searched at the Dunor Road Industrial Estate. A man in his 30s was arrested at the scene. Then last night, in follow-up searches, Gardaí seized around €25,000 worth of cannabis. A Waterford retailer fears any increase in commercial rates could shut local businesses down. Waterford Council has to plug €3.3 million hole in their budget this year due to a revaluation of Irish water rates. They're appealing to Minister Owen Murphy for financial help. However, they could be forced to increase rates or cut services to balance the books. Glenn Sheridan is from Tommy Hilfiger in Waterford City. He says he understands that the council is under pressure.
But they have to look elsewhere. It sends out the wrong message to the businesses trying to sustain at the moment. It's the wrong messages to anyone looking to come to business. We have still a lot of vacant units in the city at the moment. In the end, what could actually happen is you're going to lose ratepayers instead of increasing your rates. So it's not actually going to work in the long run. So I'd feel very, very strongly, and I'd advise, the council to relook at this, and the councillors as well. Talk to any business person, any retailers, come and visit them. They'll show you where they are, regarding footfall or regarding money and regarding last year. And it's the wrong message, and I think they need to look elsewhere.
And Lisa Connolly is from Finders Keepers in Waterford City.
It would be hard. I mean, obviously, I'd prefer to spend that money growing my business. But I guess if you look on the flip side, if there is an increase in rates, there should be an increase in spending on the city centre and improving it for customers to come and enjoy Waterford. So if the money from the rate increase, if it did happen, was spent appropriately helping other businesses in the city centre, I mean, it would only be a positive then, but it would have to be spent properly.
Gardaí in Waterford are investigating after a break-in to Evoke German kitchens overnight. It's estimated that over €15,000 worth of tools and machinery were taken from the unit at the Six Crossroads Business Park. Owner Declan Furlong says that he believes that the thieves went to a lot of effort to break in and take the goods. This is the second time the store, which employs 12 people locally, was targeted. The owners are appealing to anyone who may be offered power tools for sale, including a Hilti Consaw or a Festool plunge saw, to contact Waterford Gardaí on 051 305 300. A Limerick family are looking for answers after their son's grave was vandalised. The plot belonged to a 3-month-old baby. Josh Crosby reports.
This act of vandalism took place between 7 and 8 p.m. last Friday. Baby Gara McDonough was buried at Taylor's Cross in Fedimore in August of last year. He died from sudden infant death syndrome at the age of 3 months, leaving behind his parents and his 3-year-old brother. His father, also named Gary, says his son's plot was the only one which was targeted throughout the graveyard.
We just found that there was flower pots stuck from other people's graves and thrown onto our son's grave. And they picked up the angels that were at the top of my son's grave and busted them off the ground and smashed the dents all over them.
Gary explains how vandals also took a cross from the grave and dumped it in his mother's garden, which is nearby.
I walked out my mum's front door and the cross was actually sitting in our yard. It has his picture and the date he'd passed away and everything on it.
He's described the vandalism as sick.
I just want them to stop and leave my son's grave alone. If they're fighting with any of my family, just take it out on them, not come to my house and take it out on me, not my son's grave. It's sick.
Gardaí say no arrests have yet been made and investigations are ongoing.
A Waterford man is giving away 1,000 trees this week in a bid to help tackle climate change. Tree Sergeant Dean O'Neill has a selection of trees including oak, birch, willow and alder to give away as part of Science Week, which runs this week. The Kilmacthomas man explains why he wants people to plant more trees.
I think everybody can do their part to combat climate change. Just planting a tree is just a small part of it, but it's a big part on a wider scale. So if the government can hit their targets of 22 million trees per year, that's going to make a massive impact on our perception to the rest of Europe. But this is something that everybody can do. Children, young and old, planting a tree, it's so easy to do.
And finally, children are only allowed to visit Santa at Harrods in London if their parents spend over €2,000 in the shop. The Secret Forest Grotto at the luxury department store is described as a snow-covered woodland filled with sparkling surprises. But only participants of the store's loyalty programme are eligible and they need to have spent around €2,300. Visiting the grotto costs an additional €23 per child, but it's already fully booked.
WLR Sport.
Starting first with soccer, and the Republic of Ireland's women's team have just kicked off their Euro 2021 qualifier away to Greece. Midfielder Jamie Flynn is winning her first cap, while manager Vera Pauw has been handed a first competitive start also to Emily Whelan. That game is currently scoreless. Republic of Ireland midfielder Alan Judge feels Thursday's friendly against New Zealand is a chance for players to press a climb for selection against Denmark. Manager Mick McCarthy has hinted he'll use the New Zealand game to give the fringe players an opportunity. Elsewhere in boxing, and celebrations are ongoing in the Tramore Boxing Club following Sarah Breslin's senior 54-kilogram victory in the National Stadium on Friday night last. Sarah came out on top against the highly rated Siobhan McKenna. Coach Ray Kelly told WLR Sport that everyone in the club is immensely proud of Zara.
Absolutely thrilled. Couldn't have went any better for us. Preparation was top notch, and the fight itself went according to the plan we made. So as a coach and boxer, we couldn't be happier. As a club, it's a brilliant achievement. And we're very, very proud of it.
In horse racing, Dungarvan trainer John Queally was on the mark this afternoon at Carlisle in the north of England when his Arcadian Sunrise at odds of 3-1 captured the final race on the 6th race card. We're closer to home. The Henry de Bombhead trained Honeysuckle, the red hot 3:10 favourite, ran out as the winner on the opening contest at Fairyhouse earlier this afternoon. That's the latest on WLR. Our next bulletin is at 2.